Hey there, everybody. It's the weekend, and that means there's not a ton of news going on. And this is usually when Paul versus Destin would air, the podcast I do with Paul Tassi from Forbes. And I thought I would try something a little bit different. As you may know, I set up an email not that long ago, the Destin channel at gmail.com, and a lot of viewers sent in email questions. So I'm going to go ahead and read all the emails that we got and answer the questions that they ask. So if you like the videos on this channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when they go live. And just a heads up, on Monday, I'm also going to be doing a live stream around 6 p.m. Pacific time right here on youtube.com/the Destin channel, where I'll go over the news or the big news story of the day. And at the end, I actually let people call in. I will have how you can do that in the description below. And you can ask a question and we will talk about your talking point. So here are the emails. Mike says, is it possible that Konami could collaborate with Kojima to complete the Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, and then sell it as a remaster for the newer consoles? So Kojima has come out and said that the deleted scenes that a lot of people talk about in The Phantom Pain weren't anything special. It's just something that hit the cutting room floor. At least that's what I've heard about it. So could they redo Metal Gear Solid 5? Possibly. I think what would be more likely is if they sort of did a new take on Metal Gear Solid, the NES version, or Metal Gear, the NES, and Metal Gear 2 on the NES. I don't think they would necessarily remake Metal Gear Solid 5. Excuse me. Metal Gear Solid 5 is too new, and it's also a phenomenal entry in the series that a lot of people loved. Nathan asked, sorry, that was my take, Mike, on your question. Thanks for the email. Nathan asked, is there a game series you've never played that you'd like to get into if you had the time? Example, I'm plowing through the Devil May Cry series for my first try. Stay awesome and keep kicking butt, Destin. Nathan. A series I've never played. You know, there's series that I've played a little bit that I want to get into more. Like, something like Xenogears would be a good example, but you know, there's a lot of games out there these days that just aren't for you. And Xenogears would be an example for me. That would be a game that I couldn't get into. Phantasy Star Online is one that has always piqued my interest, but I haven't had the time. I started playing New World recently, and I did not expect to get hooked. I am absolutely hooked. I'm very close to level 40 in that game. I will probably push through and hit the level cap, which is 60. Unfortunately, with the recent server transfer news, I haven't been able to. I'm not going to be able to move to the server where all my friends went, which is a bit of a bummer. But yeah, talking about series that I've never played that I'd like to get into. It's not really a series, but I never played Police Knots. I love Kojima games. I'm currently about halfway through Death Stranding, and then I got distracted by New World. But I'm liking Death Stranding. I like all the Metal Gear games. I just like stuff Kojima makes. So I would like to check out Police Knots. I don't know if there was a Police Knots 2. I played Zone of the Enders 1 and 2. I really, really like that series. Yeah, that's a tough question, but I appreciate you sending it in, Nathan. I think I'd have to think about it more. There's so many things out there, but as I get older, it's just kind of like, well, I like what I like. I know that I like this, so I'm going to keep playing this one game until I'm done. And I have Metroid Dread on the pile of stuff to play. I have Far Cry 6 on the pile of stuff to play. There's just so many things out there right now. When you drop something like New World, that's going to take me like 120 hours to hit level cap or something, and I'm at 80. I'm at some insane time already, according to Steam, for that one. I will kind of stick with it and go from there. Great question. Maybe you guys in the comments have a series that you would like to get into but haven't yet. Damien sends in an email. He says, Destin, people ask me why I'm still an Xbox guy. First of all, I can't afford all three consoles. I work for the state of WV, Western Virginia. I don't know the abbreviations. Oh my goodness. So here's why I don't know the abbreviations by heart. I'm kind of dumb, first of all. Second of all, when I was in Canada, we learned the provinces and territories. So like Ontario, Quebec, British Columbia, all that stuff for Canada. And when I came to the States, I missed a whole year of when the students would have had to learn all of the states and all the abbreviations and everything. So I kind of came in and I had to take like a math class to catch me up with algebra and everything. It was a very bizarre transition as I was born in Canada. So I don't know, just a little nugget about me, but I think it's WV. I think it's Western Virginia. I don't know. I'm probably wrong. Anyway, I'm going to Google it. West Virginia. I had it right. Okay, great. Sorry about that little tangent. I always get a little embarrassed about it, but there you go. I should probably learn them now that I'm almost 40 years old. Anyway, I have a Switch for Zelda and Mario pretty much. I haven't bought a PlayStation since the very first one, so I don't miss or care about their franchises. However, I have bought every Xbox. So in reality, I was always going to go Xbox with this generation. However, I wrote this email/letter to Phil Spencer, never expecting a reply, just like I don't really expect a reply here, honestly. Well, surprise, I made a whole video about it. And the fact that Phil took the time to read and reply to that email is why I'll continue to be part of the Xbox family. I highly doubt any of the higher ups at Sony would do the same. I played the Halo Infinite flight on my phone through remote play from my Series X. That's interesting. I wonder how that went. I ended the remote play and instantly took up from that spot on my TV console. That's cool. I don't really have a question. I'm glad to see a realistic, normal person on YouTube pushing pro-consumer ideas and values. Keep up the good work, Destin. I watch just about everything you put out, Unlocked included. Well, thank you so much, Damien. I really appreciate your email, and I am responding to you. I'll reply to your email with a link to this video and just be like, hey, so I responded in video form. Thanks for the email. Anyway, here's what he sent Phil. He said, Phil, you probably will never read this, but I had to create something that conveys my appreciation and thanks for your role in the current situation with Xbox. I bought a base One with Kinect, as well as a One X, and now a Series X, thanks to my family willing to go to battle with the scalpers at Best Buy. Oh boy. I am a recovering opioid addict, and free time used to be my enemy. I can understand that. I would drown myself in substances trying to feel good and happy. The Series X and its features have saved my marriage. Wow. And not at all hyperbolic, maybe my life. I didn't read this originally, so I'm reacting to this in real time. Game Pass Ultimate, giving me access to all the games on Game Pass, as well as on my console through streaming, helps me never be alone with my impulses. It takes me back to my childhood, where I used games to help me through the turbulence of growing up in the modern world. I'm 32, started with SNES, and was deep into gaming until I got into the party scene. Wishing to appear cool, I became the guy who could do more, handle more than everyone else, and still be productive/alive the next day. Gaming faded away during my college years, allowing my free time to be eaten by my demons. I lost everything I owned. I was homeless twice, bounced off rock bottom. I eventually started putting my stuff together, but still couldn't shake my demons and my impulses. Threatening my new marriage several times, I began to get medicated, started working on myself. One of the last things to click into place was rediscovering gaming. I may have replaced one addiction with another, but this one is much safer and healthier. Thank you for saving the Xbox brand and bringing a machine to market that makes as many new memories as memories of nostalgia it feeds off of. Bethesda has always been my favorite third-party developer and is now part of my favorite brand. Never knew a little black box could mean so much, and I could be such a fanboy of a console. I honestly believe the Series X will wind up being my favorite console of all time, and I just wanted to create a long-form letter that will probably never reach you, but that conveys my thanks and appreciation for your role in helping me putting my life back together and giving me something that gives me a place away from the demons, that takes me back to my childhood. With sincerest thanks, Damien. And Phil wrote back, thanks for the note. I appreciate you taking the time to write it. It makes me happy that gaming plays an important role in your life. It does for me as well. Thanks for the kind words and stay safe, Phil. Damien, wow. That's an incredible story. I'm very happy that you managed to work on yourself, focus on what you want to improve about yourself, and, get to a place that's healthier than where you were. I did not read I read the original email. I didn't read your email to Phil. I didn't realize you had gone through so much, but it's sort of, it's a good reminder to all of us that sometimes it's better to take the time and work on yourself as opposed to trying to fix the rest of the world, right? So that's what Damien has done. He said, this is bad. I'm going to mess up my marriage. I'm going through all this stuff. And he managed to figure something out that works. And I'm glad that he was able to. In life, we all have challenges. Some people don't talk about them. You never know what another person is going through. So never make assumptions about their life journey, about their life struggles, etc. You never know what's going on with another human being in this world. And for Damien to find some solace in gaming is really heartening. And I don't care what platform you play on. If gaming impacts you in a positive way, that makes me happy. And I hope Damien continues on the right path. Damien, kudos to you for kicking some bad habits. And hopefully you manage to game in a healthy manner also. X-Wolf writes in, hello again, Destin. I want to start off by saying thank you for the amazing content that you bring to PlayStation and Xbox fans every day. Recently, Jeff Grubb said earlier this week that Xbox Game Studios may be trying out 3 potential studios to be acquired later on down the line. Crystal Dynamics, who did Tomb Raider and Avengers, Avalanche, who just did Just Cause, and currently making Contraband and IO Interactive, Hitman, and Project Dragon. My question to you is, why acquire these studios in particular? Why not Remedy or Crytek or another studio they have a relationship with? I recognize they are amazing at what they do, but why would Microsoft need to try them out? In the case of Crystal Dynamics, Grubb even states Microsoft may be willing to buy Tomb Raider, Hitman, and or Just Cause IPs. Would love your input. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you, X-Wolf, longtime supporter of the channel. I appreciate you sending in the email. Why would you try them out? I don't know. The same reason Sony sort of tries out a lot of these companies before they acquire them. Joining a mega corporation in any sort of capacity can take a little bit of time to work out the kinks, figure out the different workflows, different processes. It's not just like, hey, you want to come work for us? Cool. Like, there's all the tools in the back end about development, about project delivery, about marketing. It's this huge ship, and huge ships take a very long time to even turn slightly in a new direction. There's a lot of people involved, and I think that's why they would try them out. Personally, I hope that I think the Just Cause IP is fairly strong, or at least the technology involved with Just Cause. Maybe they recreate that with a little bit of a different spin on it, but utilize that technology. I think that would be really cool. I think it would be really interesting if they grab the Tomb Raider franchise, but they have the data to see if that is a valuable investment, or if maybe the market isn't there right now for Tomb Raider. Who knows? I can't wait to see what pans out, though. And as for the other companies, we don't know. They could be working with those other companies. Maybe they are. Thank you, Axel, for the question. Rami asks, hello, Destin. Huge fan. Love your channel. If I wasn't a broke college student in college debt, would have been a supporting member of your channel. Don't worry about it. Just watch the videos. That's fine, because I put ads on the videos and the ads pay for the content. So if you don't want to become a member, that's fine. The bare minimum that I try and do for every member is upload the same video so you watch it without ads. I think you can also do that with the YouTube Red. So all of those are just watch the video, watch it with YouTube Red, become a member. Those are different things that you can do. But if you're a broke college kid, worry about paying off your student loans, worry about education. That's what you should be doing. Thank you for watching. I wanted to raise the issue of single-player co-op games and how few there are compared to the retro era. I'm glad that Xbox and Nintendo have flagship co-op games like Halo, Gears, Grounded, Sea of Thieves, etc., but PlayStation is severely lacking in that regard. I can't tell you the amount of fun and memories I make playing co-op games with my friends and family. Why isn't anyone talking about the lack of co-op games? I think I made 2 videos about that when Halo announced there wasn't going to be co-op. That's a bummer. I feel like the world in general is becoming more solo driven. Even MMOs like WoW, which needed you to have friends or members, now can be played solo all the way, other raids, etc. I think he had a typo there. Anyway, which is random now has random matchmaking. Anyway, I don't understand that sentence. Let me read it again. I feel like the world in general is becoming more solo driven. Even MMOs like WoW, which needed you to have friends or members, now can be played solo all the way, other than raids, etc., which is random now has random matchmaking. I like how Nintendo just adds co-op, even though it's pretty unnecessary, but the fact that they added it, they have my respect. Games like the new Mario Bowser's Fury, where a second player can play as the Flying Bowser Jr., which is kind of useless, but still, I get to enjoy the game with my little nephew and make tons of memories together. In my opinion, any game that has AI companion co-op should be an optional co-op thing. Like Dragon Age Inquisition could easily implement optional co-op in their campaign, or you know how Skyrim co-op mod got pretty famous. I rather have the option to choose whether I have an AI teammate follower or a human. Finally, Phil Spencer always says that Xbox is about bringing people together and indirectly talks about co-op games. And that's what I love about the direction Xbox is taking. With their increasing amounts of flagship co-op games, do you think it will persuade their first-party studios to finally make a Western RPG that has campaign co-op? I'm thinking Avowed or the next ESO or maybe even Starfield. I hope you find this email. Sincerely, B. To add to this email, it was a separate email. Elden Ring might be a super huge hit thanks to the way easier and less jumping through hoops to co-op with a friend, since From Software games are infamous for making it complicated. Yeah, co-op games. So I'm one of those players that like to play solo, but as my son gets older, I can imagine that we're going to want to play duos. When I was a kid, we would pass the controller, or, you would take turns doing a fighting game. And there certainly is something lost about having couch co-op in more games, or just co-op in general. A lot of stuff is online right now. Like earlier I was talking about New World and how I'm playing a ton of it. And I can't even play it. It sounds like I'm not even going to be able to go from a Western server to an Eastern server where all my friends are playing and play with them anymore. So that's a bummer for me. And I get where you're coming from. I think Nintendo has definitely gone out of their way to make a lot of co-op games, and that's why Nintendo is probably one of the most popular platforms, because kids can play together, families can play together, and it's something they've definitely gone out of their way to make sure is part of their business model. So would that persuade people? I bet it would. Will it happen? I don't think it will, unfortunately, but I understand why people like it and why you would want to see more games do that. Thank you for the email. Brian says, hello, Destin, fan of your channel. I have heard of the idea of games being exclusive to Game Pass, but some people are against it. I was thinking on a hybrid, a time-exclusive episodic game like The Walking Dead that could be launched on other platforms and retail after the last episode is released. I would like to know your thoughts on the matter. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for the answer. Brian, it just sounds like you're describing timed exclusives, but with the Game Pass being added in there somehow. I think it could work, maybe. But I don't know off the top of my head, to be honest. I think it's too easy of an answer. I don't know if they would do that, but it's an interesting suggestion for sure. I don't really have too many thoughts on the matter. Like, I don't know, because then you would have this sort of weird fragmented experience on the Game Pass platform. Like if you missed episode 1 and they're on episode 3, and then is it still on Game Pass or is it gone? I guess that's the sort of thing that I would be curious about, but could it work? Of course, anything could work. Thank you for the email, Brian. I hope I answered that question. Jeff from Stark Vegas says, so really enjoying your channel. I listen every day. I am wondering what's your take on the Xbox rumors about the slip in numbers for Game Pass, the 30 million he's talking about. I'm curious why after so long, Microsoft doesn't report numbers. I believe they would be reported if they were stronger than Sony's. As a fan, it is disheartening to think they are losing, so they don't want people to know that. I know the argument is they don't care about console sales numbers, but they don't even tout Game Pass often. There was a rumor of 30 million, which I believe Phil debunked. Then came the rumor that they lost ground. Also, how about the report that a Japanese retailer quit selling Xboxes because of Game Pass? Is that a positive for Game Pass or a negative for Xbox? Just interested what your take on all of this is. Reason for concern or just fanboy flaming? Thanks, Jeff from Stark Vegas, aka Starkville, Mississippi. So I think that Xbox doesn't release numbers because it doesn't clearly convey what their goal is as a brand. Their goal is to expand to digital devices of all sorts. And when they release stuff like console sales, the narrative becomes Xbox is failing. And I don't think that's an accurate depiction of what is happening, because you have to look at all of their business avenues and not just something as simple as console sales. Console sales are one piece of the puzzle. PlayStation loves to tout their console sales, but really they're just talking to their fan base and their investors about, hey, look how good this looks. Microsoft is the company that you're investing in when you invest in Xbox. So if the optics are that Game Pass is doing well and that their services are doing well and they release their numbers, they're tremendously happy with everything, then that's sort of one part of the pie for Xbox and Microsoft. But an investor wouldn't invest just in the Xbox division. You're investing in Microsoft as a whole. So I don't think they really have as much push to release those numbers. And when they have released those numbers in the past, especially during the original Xbox era, it was just met with negativity. So there's not really an advantage to them telling a clear-cut story. Do I like that? No, I want to know how many consoles they sold. I want to know how their divisions are doing, et cetera, et cetera. But so it's annoying as a fan or just like somebody that wants to have some more concrete data to look at. And I made a few videos about their numbers, but I also understand why they don't do it, because then it just becomes because then it does affect their bottom line, because it gets spun in a negative way. And they're like, well, this doesn't help our stock. This doesn't help our portfolio. This doesn't help our brand image. So we're just going to stop doing it. And honestly, that's been better for them than anything else. But yeah, it bugs me too. Thank you for the question, Jeff. Praveen says, I would like to share this idea with you. So imagine what would happen if Xbox and PlayStation traded one of their AAA games. What would you think would happen between the PlayStation community and the Xbox community? It would explode. Everybody would be mad on both sides. I'm sure the Xbox community would be fine, but Xbox would lose something and PlayStation would lose something, and both brands would gain something. It would never happen. The fanboys would go crazy. Imagine if Xbox and PlayStation collaborated together to make a video game and brings together the best of both worlds together. I think Bethesda offers the closest thing to an opportunity like that happening. But yeah, I don't think that's a fun question. It would never happen. I think they might collaborate. That might happen, but them trading franchises, nobody would ever do that. Hey, I'll trade you a Halo for a God of War. No way. Those are two. It's a funny idea to think about, but never going to happen. Thank you so much for the email. That's everything I had for this week. I'm just going to post this as is. It's just email questions. I'll try and format. I didn't expect it to be 20 minutes, 25 minutes long, but I've done a few more of these longer form things. Thank you, everybody who sent in your email. I appreciate it. Just thanks. It's the Destin channel at gmail.com if you want to send in emails. Maybe I'll make this a Sunday thing, a bonus video or something where I answer all of them. Thank you so much. I'm going to catch you for the next one. And on Monday, if there's no big story that I feel super inspired to do a video about, I'm just going to do a live stream for my video tomorrow. So the live stream will be at 6 p.m. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you like this stuff, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. If you want to become a member, memberships are turned on. Thank you to everybody who has become a member. I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.